While South Africans are being welcomed with resettlement assistance, 9,000 Afghans who helped fight against the Taliban are set to lose deportation protections. I'll explain. After the US withdrew from Afghanistan in 2022, the Biden administration designated TPS for thousands of Afghans who aided against the Taliban and fled their home country. On May 12th, the Department of Homeland Security announced it will end temporary protected status for nearly 9,000 Afghans, many of whom assisted the US military, by July 12, 2025. Kristi Gnome, U.S. Secretary of Homeland Security, explained that the administration is ending TPS for Afghanis because the country no longer meets the criteria for the program, claiming Afghanistan's security situation has improved and its economy is stabilizing. However, the State Department's travel advisory for Afghanistan remains a 4, the highest level possible due to Taliban presence. The Trump administration is now considering exempting Christians from deportation. However, it's failing to consider the severe risk of sending people who went against the Taliban to aid in the conflict in the Middle East, especially women and girls who face severe oppression and violence from the Taliban. Just days before this announcement, the Trump administration extended TPS to South Africans of Afrikaner descent who claim they face racism and oppression in their country despite being 7% of the population, holding 20 times more wealth than Black South Africans and owning nearly 75% of the land. Critics argue that this contrasting treatment of Afghan nationals and Afrikaners highlights racial bias in U.S. immigration policy, one that often grants refuge based on race, religion, and political convenience, rather than the actual threats people face in their home countries. However, this pattern isn't something new. The U.S. has historically been selective in its immigration policies, granting refuge to some groups while excluding others. European migrants often have more accessible pathways, while refugees fleeing violence and instability face greater barriers to asylum. So, whether it's immigrants who risked their lives for the US or those seeking safety and refuge, the question remains: why do certain migrants deserve protection, and why do others get pushed out?